somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work? Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat? Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get? I need somebody to please fucking tell me he's lying. I can't.
I'm on food stamps, and you're living off your credit cards. Remind me again, which one of us is living off the government's money? Because last time I checked, that stimulus, that PPP loan, that's all coming from our taxes too. See, you hate the word welfare because it's attached to poor people. But when it's corporation or Congress, they call it subsidies. The truth is, we're all living off the same system. I'm just being honest about it. Keep your judgment and maybe pay off that visa before you come for me and my EBT.
Somebody get me the fuck off of white TikTok. Like, for real, get me off of it. I need black people to start commenting ASAP, because I'm over there and them asses are talking about, oh my God, do y'all know SNAP benefits come from us? We give out SNAP benefits. It comes from us. It was created for y'all. The first white person to receive SNAP benefits was what, 1939? And her name was Maybelle, and she lived in New York. And baby, when black folks tried to get it, they excluded the sharecroppers as well. And then white wholesalers manipulated the program and profited off of it, leaving black folks out to the dust. Now, what stopped that shit was the Food Stamp Act of 1964. 64, y'all. My mama was born in 65. So let me get this straight. White people, y'all have benefited off of food stamps longer than any other race in this fucking country. Black folks just got that shit for real in 1964. Hell, we got that before we got our voting rights. And then in the 1980s, y'all got pissed off that we were getting actual help. And y'all started coming up with the trope, the welfare queen, saying black people and black women in particular were using food stamps to get over on the government, leading to increased restrictions and eligibility. Restrictions only harmed low-income people of color, i.e. black folks. As of 2023, 37% of white people in America are on SNAP, 26% are black, and 16% are Hispanic. So who's really living off our shit? Y'all get on my nerves.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My good name is Gracie D. I hope you all are doing amazing. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. What if I told you today that one of the most damaging stereotype ever created about black women was based on one woman, an exaggerated story, and a political strategy? On this episode, we are going to talk about the myth of the welfare queen, how it was used to dehumanize black women, how they used it to make black women the face of poverty, and why this stereotype is still being weaponized today, even though white Americans are the largest group on SNAP benefits. I want us to watch some of these few videos that I've gathered for you guys. This episode is just for education purposes only. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on this episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screens. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't, and let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. So let's just dive right ahead, and we'll be back with more commentary.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is my embarrassing confession. I grew up with a mother who was a welfare queen, and I've lived in more trailer parks than I can possibly count. Seriously. I had a very horrible childhood, very Charles Dickens childhood. And I was in foster care for 4 years. So we're going to talk about the SNAP benefits, because guess what? Your friend here, Naomi, I am the one here to tell you that I know exactly what it's like to be on welfare, to be a child on welfare, to have a mother who is a welfare queen. Back when my mother was alive, and we were living that life, she would give me and my sister food stamps, and they came in, actual paper bills back in those days, and we would have to take those down to like a little store and buy something cheap so that they would have to pay us back in change. Then we would take the change to her. She would collect the change. She would give us other food stamps, and we would continue doing that until she had enough of the change money to purchase what was really important to her, which was marijuana and alcohol. So foster care 4 we're I can say foster care was a lot better than living with my mother. We're we're going to tie this into the SNAP benefits. And I know that there are many people in this world who are truly innocent and genuinely do need those benefits. People who will have a car accident or a sudden medical incident or a real handicap or maybe an autism at such a level that they're not really capable of functioning in society. We have a lot of people with autism. We have a lot of people who are elderly. I'm looking at those people saying, yes, I think that we should be very generous with them because they are the weakest ones. But we can't be naive about the other half. We can't be naive about the people like my mother. People like that do exist. And I'm here to tell you, I have seen it with my own two eyes. It is real. And what is really happening with these individuals is they have a slave mentality. Welfare recipients, people who are talking about society's duty to feed their children, people who also think that others have a duty to work and to be forced to give the fruits of their labor to other people. They don't have that duty. They don't have that duty. But welfare breeds a slave mentality. It breeds people who do become dependent and who also evolve a sense of freaking entitlement. When you have to do things on your own, that sense of entitlement kind of goes away. When you really have to work and have to earn it, they think that they're entitled to it and they don't have a growth mentality. This might be the actual best thing that could have happened for that particular group of people, because consider this, the average body weight of an individual who works is about 160 pounds. Talking about a female here. The average body weight of a female who is on SNAP benefits is 210 pounds. So maybe the good thing here is that if they're so worried about freaking food, they're going to start digesting their own body fat. And maybe that experience might be enough to tell them that they need to get a goddamn job to pay for themselves and their kids.
I want you all to mark your calendars, because come November 1st, if SNAP and EBT benefits are not made available, oh, there is going to be a group that is going to spectacularly crash out online and in the media. But it's not going to be the group that many people think that it will be. This country has long lied on Black Americans, saying that we're lazy, that we always have our hand out, that we always play the victim, and that we are the majority recipients of government assistance. One of the most damaging and devastating racist lies that have been told about our community is that our Black American women are welfare queens who have babies out of wedlock so that they can subsist on government assistance. Some members of our own community even have internalized that lie and believe it. But it is a lie. Black Americans, the majority of us know that we are the group that is the exact opposite of all of those racist lies. Despite living in a racist, anti-Black nation, we continue to survive and in many cases thrive because we excel in making something out of nothing, of surviving seemingly insurmountable odds with our resilience and ingenuity and persistence. But come November 1st, if those SNAP and EBT benefits are not available, the world is going to see who the true welfare queens have always been. And let me tell you something. They belong to the same group as those farmers who have been all over the media and online, crying and begging for the federal government to give them yet again another handout to bail them out, because they have been dependent and reliant on federal government handouts for generations. And it is intended for them to get another bailout with their own tax dollars after the shutdown ends. It's going to be that same group that those farmers belong to. They are going to be melting down all over the place. And it's going to be quite a show.
Welfare queen who actually benefited from welfare. I know some of you know this just like I do, but I was waiting for this to come around. I've been holding out. Okay, here we go. Ain't no holding back. Let's get into this myth of the welfare queen. Y'all know it's a stereotype invented by Ronald Reagan. Yes, honey, 1980s. This image was about, hold on, I need some tea. The tea is that this was unemployed Black women scamming the government, living luxury off of your hard work money, your tax dollars. This is so hilarious, and I hear it all the time, but y'all, the tea is real. The tea is piping hot. Who is it? Who benefited from this system? Yeah, we about to find out. But if I told you that this story was never rooted in truth, it was never rooted in truth. You know why? Because a welfare system wasn't even created for Black people. That's right. Let me tell you what I heard when I was even young about this. Wait, do y'all know the Umbrella Academy? Okay, I'm about to be her, one of my favorite actresses. I heard a rumor that the history they don't teach you, welfare programs in the United States, was initially designed for white women, specifically white housewives. I'm sorry, but white housewives who only had to be mothers, they're unemployed. They're not working. Now, don't come for me, because being a mother is already hard, taking care of the household and your kids and extracurricular activities. And if you're on a PTA, girl, let me give you your flowers. But this is the truth. I just said it. Okay. So during the Great Depression and years to follow, programs like Aid to Dependent Children, later known as Aid to Families with Dependent Children, or AFDC, were created to support white women whose husbands had abandoned them. That's right, abandoned them. That means they left for a new model. Doesn't that sound familiar? Human race, right? I told y'all. Or died, or couldn't provide. Or couldn't provide. Where have we heard this from? It was a safety net for them and their children, rooted in the idea of preserving the ideal white nuclear family. Imagine that shit. If everybody thought about us being a human race instead of a division race, you would know you got the same damn problems. Nothing different, but you have to put a false narrative on to be relevant or to be superior. And I'm not talking about you current times, but I'm talking about the past times. So y'all get it. Okay, let's continue. But as more women of color, and yes, Black women, began to access these programs in the 1960s and 70s during the Civil Rights era, public perception of welfare started to shift. Ain't that about it? So suddenly the face card flipped, and it wasn't like the tool to protect families. It was painted as a program of being exploited by lazy, undeserving individuals. Isn't that crazy, people? Don't you think? Who really benefited from this welfare? Especially at the time that Reagan made this myth famous. You hear me? Famous. In the 1980s, the majority of people receiving welfare were white Americans. You want me to repeat that for you? I've already knew this. You can Google it. It's still going to say white America has been on the welfare in bigger numbers, but I'm going to keep going. So not only was it majority white Americans getting this welfare, it was majority white women, and that's the truth. Black people have always received less welfare aid than any other racial group. And please don't say, oh, it's not true because my friend, or I heard, or I was behind a girl in a line. Stop it and Google it, okay? And even they tried to scapegoat the primary user, try to cover it up and say them, when it's really you. So why are we standing on business today? Because I'm tired of the lies. Like I told y'all, I'm tired of the lies, and the truth shall set you free. Can I get a soul clap? Because the plan is never just about race. It's about creating division. These stereotypes that are pent up against us, can't stand it. And the more I dig, the more truth comes out to it, that you are creating division, you are creating insecurities, and you are putting fear into people's hearts. When the true answers is right here, y'all. Look it up. So here's your homework. Take a moment to reflect this history. I know, yes. Like, who benefited from it? Like, what do you believe? I told you to do your homework so you can check. Like welfare queens. They did that as a distraction. They always doing something over here, but look over here. Like that. Think about this day and time. For all of you that are blessed to be at-home moms, kudos to you, because it's more than just being a mama. That is a whole 9 to 5, sometimes 24-hour job, okay? And can you think about somebody calling you lazy because you're technically unemployed, but taking care of your kids, taking care of the house, doing all the emotional support, being a psychiatrist, being a social worker, all of this at home, and that is labeled as lazy. Imagine that. Okay, let's stay curious, y'all.
So many people are caught up in what's going on politically in the present. And me, on the other hand, I am more interested in the future and what the fallout from all of this is going to be. So today, I've been stuck down this rabbit hole of the disparities in subsidies given to white farmers versus those given to many Black farmers, some not all. And it's very eye-opening to see that white farmers have been the welfare queens that they vehemently speak about the whole time. White farmers, many, have been receiving conservation payments given to them, shut up, to preserve and not farm certain pieces of their land in the name of environmental conservation. But yet this is the same group of people that don't believe in global warming and all of the other things that negatively impact the environment. And so as a result of that belief system, the Trump administration zero funded conservation payments along with all of the other many cuts that he's making. And now all of a sudden, these same groups of people who don't believe in global warming are now complaining about not receiving their conservation payments and saying that they can't support themselves and they can't survive without their welfare. Yet, many Black and farmers of color are doing relatively okay during this period because they were shut out from government funding and have always had to sustain themselves on their own, farm their land on their own without subsidies. It's very interesting. And so the reason why I'm worried or more concerned about the future of this is because I'm curious to know if these same groups of people will allow bigotry and racism to win again. See, racism is expensive. It's very costly. And this may be one of the first truly recordable times that many white people can see a one-to-one correlation between their racism and their revenue. So I'm curious to know if they will grasp that you can't have your cake and eat it too, or if they will lean further into their cognitive dissonance, find a way to get their payments and still vote the way they vote, participate politically the way they participate, and hold the beliefs that they hold. But y'all been the welfare queens all along. So it's okay when y'all get free stuff from the government, even if it's coded under an environmental cause that you don't believe in. You don't give a damn how it's coded. You don't give a damn what department it's coming from, just as long as your able-bodied ass gets it, but nobody got it. How do you like them apples?
I'm sure that if you've watched each one of these stitches, you've now got to understand where the welfare queen myth really came from. The stereotypes didn't come from a reality. It came from a political data. And in the 1970s, politicians highlighted the case of Linda Taylor, a woman who committed multiple crimes. Instead of treating her as an individual criminal, her story was blown up and turned into a symbol used to portray Black mothers as fraudulent, irresponsible, and living lavishly on government assistance. It was never about Linda Taylor. It was about shaping a public opinion. And you want to ask, or you wonder why Black women were targeted at this a specific time. And the reason is because at that time, Black women were becoming more politically active, gaining economic independence, challenging racial and gender hierarchies, visible in civil rights leadership. And that's why creating a stereotype at that moment that painted Black mothers as lazy, ungrateful, and dependent helped weaken their political and social power. Now, you've seen people coming out here and calling out black people, thinking that black people are actually the ones that depend on these. And you've seen even people creating videos mocking people on SNAP benefits. Even a nurse holding a black dog saying how she has to go to work because the work of feeding her babies, in this case, refunding her dog as kids and babies that depend on SNAP benefits, trying to show on how black women depend on SNAP benefits and government assistance to feed their kids. And that is not the case, because white Americans are the largest group in the United States of America that depend on SNAP benefits. Most of these people went on ahead and voted against their own self-best interest. It's not because they wanted a better country. It's because all these policies that were actually put there by the Republicans in this administration, that they were only going to affect black Americans. And now that these policies and these issues that have been affecting black Americans for centuries are finally catching up with white Americans. This is why you're seeing people crying. And as this man was saying in this video, with what has been happening with the government shutdown, they are actually saying about SNAP benefits. He's saying that you'll not see melanated people coming online, new videos crying on how they are suffering because they are lacking on SNAP benefits. Now, that does not mean that there are no black people that are depending on SNAP benefits here. They're actually black families, they are black mothers that depend on SNAP benefits to feed their kids and feed their families. But when you look at the biggest percentage of people that depend on SNAP benefits are actually white Americans. Single white mothers are depending on SNAP benefits to feed their kids. White veterans are depending on SNAP benefits to feed themselves and also their families. And these people went on ahead and voted for this new administration because they thought that these policies, they are not gonna affect us in any way. These people are very ignorant, and the reason as to why I'm saying this, when this government talked about, SNAP benefits, about DEI, about Obamacare, they believed, and they didn't even bother themselves to go on and look on some of these acts or some of these policies actually mean. So when it comes to SNAP benefits, they believed that this was only used to help black women, single black mothers, to get government assistance. And they believed that and still went on ahead and voted for that. So when it comes to Obamacare, most people actually were happy that this new government or this new administration of, making America great again was gonna do away with Obamacare. And now most people are now realizing that we effed up. And now they're finding out that Obamacare was the same as Affordable Care Act. But they voted for this new administration to repeal Obamacare when they don't even have a plan. The same case when it comes to DEI. So many people are like, yeah, we don't want DEI. Why do you have to be hired because of your skin color? Why do I have to have a black surgeon that was, put in this position because of their skin color? And most believe that most black people that they were actually seeing in these senior offices, these doctors, these surgeons that they were seeing, these black dentists they were seeing, they were there not because of their qualifications, but because of their skin color. And this is what is now affecting America. Yeah. Many people voted to be racist but not to be affected by these policies. And now they're crying out because these policies are now affecting their families. And no, they don't have a way on how they are going to survive with everything that is happening in 2025. It's now that people are learning that the majority of welfare and SNAP beneficiaries have always been white Americans. Today, according to federal data, white Americans make up the largest share of SNAP recipients nationwide. States with large white rural population, including many southern and midwestern states, receive the most food assistance. So while the public was being fed images of black mothers as the face of welfare, the actual beneficiaries were not the ones who were being demonized. And this is what is happening. And now people are finding out because they chose to believe in these stereotypes and lies that were fed to them by their political leaders and those who they believed because of hatred and racism. And this is why you're seeing this country getting to where it is because of everything that has been happening. I want you all to tell me what you think about these guys, about what you think about the welfare queen. If you're actually a white mom that is, getting government government assistance when it comes to SNAP benefits and, you know, EBT and all that, I would also want you to tell us, why are you on SNAP benefits? Is it because you're lazy? Because, you know, people are saying these people are on SNAP benefits because they are lazy and they don't want to work. Mind you, there are people who are still working up to 2 jobs, but they are still not in a position to feed their families. Let me know what you all think about these guys. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't. Give this video a like, share with your friends and loved ones, and until the next episode, have a great time.